All right, we're starting out this morning, 70 participants strong. Let's get a few more people on here as we prepare to greet Michael this morning. We can have another 30 here in just moments. Reminder to shut off our videos as we're coming on. Still getting a few of those. At any rate, we've got today our trainer again is Michael. He's going to do part two of funding the combo sales that we've got. We're looking forward to that. We appreciate Michael when he's here. He's got 2 days a week, and that's a big commitment. We appreciate what he does for us. He is someone that is, for the new people on our phone call, he is someone that started a few years ago. He was working two jobs at Jiffy Lube and Sears Auto Center. He was paying down student debt. He was living in his girlfriend's mother's unfinished basement and decided he was going to turn his life around. When he found Renatus, he applied the principles. He started practicing self-improvement like nobody's business, and I don't know of anybody that does it better, and the results are evident when you meet Michael. He's a very positive person. He's a very coachable person, and he encourages everyone around him to be their best. Michael, good morning. We're excited to be with you this morning.
Good morning, guys. Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Wealth Wednesday. Another day, another dollar. Let's talk about it. As we're switching over screens and everything, I want to welcome all the new folks. If this is your first time here, welcome, welcome. This is where we mastermind, share ideas, support each other, accomplish great things. So this is not something to be skipping very often, if ever, because we also record it. You can catch the recording. The main point for today, like Ron said, is going to be talking about funding and different ways of getting our folks into the program. And we made a commitment a long time ago. We made a commitment about this webinar. No IMA left behind. So what that means is once we have 100 folks on the line, we can continue. Good morning. Manuel, what's up? Good morning, everybody. 77 folks. We will start when 100 IMAs are with us. It's teamwork makes the dream work kind of thing. Excited to pick up from where we left off last week. While we are getting more folks on the line here, we can do a quick recap. Of what we were working on. Okay, remember we talked about the two kinds of conversations. Okay, remember we talked about how scared money doesn't make any money. But also we talked about how your conversation style, if it's about going and getting money, for the majority of it, you're going to repel people versus you having a conversation style of this bright future, let's go make some money. You know, let's get this technicality of you paying for it out of the way so we can get to work and actually start multiplying. All right, good morning, folks. See people hopping on. Remember, you can put a setting on your phone so that when you log into Zoom, it doesn't have your camera on, and then we don't have to see your morning boogers. Some of you know what I'm talking about. Okay, then we talked. That's funny. We talked about the thought of I don't want to be money hungry, and so people are afraid of talking about money. But if you're not money hungry, why would anyone want to work with you in a business? Business is designed specifically to make money. So let's be money hungry, but let's be money hungry with our guests, with our people, not from our guests. There's a big difference there. And we talked about beginning with the end in mind. To make 100,000 takes about 20 sales because it'll average out to 10 essentials, 10 combos. We got to get 60 folks through the info in a professional manner, and 1 out of 3 will buy something. So that means 1 out of 5 will attend, meaning 5 times 60 is 300 new friends. We talked about how you can either go to the group of people, and it totally depends on how much you've changed, how much you need to change in order to be successful in real estate and business ownership. If you already had a lot of traits going on and you're grooving and you just needed a few technicalities to learn how to do this right, that's one thing. But if you were not a nice person or didn't follow your commitments, didn't keep your word, that kind of stuff, and you were hanging out with those kind of people, and now that group of people knows you as who you are. And so what I'm suggesting is, while you are telling everyone what you're working on, we're definitely telling them what we're working on, but we're not trying to convince them that I've changed. We don't want to get into convince mode. You're going to let them know you've changed. You're going to let them know what you worked on, but you're not going to convince them. It's 2 different energies. Okay, so a lower resistance way of doing it is making a new group of friends. What? A new group of friends? That's right. And with that new group, they're going to know only what you let them know. They're only going to know what you let them know. You let them know that you're a real estate investor, you're a business owner, you're passionate, you're involved in leadership programs and personal development, you're involved in all sorts of things. Once they have that impression and that's you, then the invitation and the sales become so much easier. You're talking to this new group of people who only knows what you let them know. We talked about creating a list of traits that you want to attract, and the ultimate way to attract them is to be that list. Okay, we got to remember that our education sells itself, and it takes about, in my experience, the last 8 years, for a customer to make a buying decision. It takes about 7 hours or so of information within about a week and a half period in order to get an easy sale. So make sure you're getting those 7 hours in, helping people. And when people say, I don't have the money, you know that someone enrolled in the combo made money, made more money, and started with no money. So you know that, and I know that you know that. So when people say I don't have the money, that is not a reason to not move forward or not enroll or not keep trying or not keep showing up. None of that. If you don't have money, why would you stop coming to these meetings, right? So don't let people say, well, I don't have any money as the reason. It doesn't matter. That's why we exist. It's what our company does. It's a fact and the truth. So before we jump into the training for today, we need to get 100 IMAs on the line. So I'm going to sit patiently. I'm being so patient right now. Patiently waiting. No IMAs left behind. What's up, guys? Good morning. Thanks for hopping on. Cinco más. Cinco más. Okay, so while we're waiting for a few folks to hop on, I'm going to tell you guys a joke. You guys open for a joke? A little Wealth Wednesday morning, a little funny something joke. You guys are cool with that while we're waiting for a few more folks? I do want to get into the training, and we made a commitment a long time ago. We weren't going to leave people behind. So keep recruiting, get 5 more folks on there. While we're doing that, I'm going to tell you a joke. So there was a happy little bird, so exuberant, loving with life, just having a great time. And as winter came, you know what? He totally forgot to fly south for the winter. And he, once realizing that it was late and he needed to get going, started trying to fly, but it was so cold that his wings froze and he fell to the ground. Well, what happened right after that is a cow came walking by and plopped some dung right on him, right on the bird. Now, the dung was warm, so warm, in fact, that the wings of the bird started to thaw, and the bird was sitting there all nice and warm and happy, and you know he's not frozen anymore, and because he's happy, he started tweeting, "Deep, deep, 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 deep. Oh, I'm so happy." Well, just at that time, a cat walked by, heard the little tweeting, scooped up, threw the dung, found the bird, ate him up. So the lesson is, not everyone who heaps dung on you is your enemy. Not everyone who gets you out of shit is your friend. And above all, if you're in a heap of poop, keep your mouth shut. Oh my goodness, silly stuff. All right, cool. We got 97 folks on the line. It's working. It's working. A couple more folks hop on. Welcome. So we've been talking about this. Funny, Jeff. You're funny. Okay, guys, we've been talking about this concept of changing our conversation, making sure that the majority of it is about let's make money instead of go get money. We're talking a lot about that. And I just heard from a couple IMAs that how they've been applying this. And so what I'd like to do is invite Abhi, Mr. Abhi from the Salt Lake City team, to just come out and share real quick as you've been prospecting and applying what you've been learning on these webinars. Give the folks a practical lesson and example of what has transpired for you in your business compared to a couple weeks ago. Mr. Abhi, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, my friend.
Okay, great. Yeah, I mean, I got to say this training that Michael's been going over last week and earlier this week, yeah, I started applying it right away. So I guess I could share, you know, an example of how this worked for me, or how I was able to apply this idea that when I'm one-on-one with a prospect, not making the entire conversation about, you know, go get your money, find your funding, but really focusing on their future and what they're trying to accomplish, and just making the money a very small part of that. So earlier this week, it was actually on Monday, I took one of my prospects out to dinner for a one-on-one. So he had come to the Thursday night session for the first time last week, came to the Friday follow-up, and so I met him on Monday at Zhao Asian Cafe. And, you know, we were sitting there and starting the conversation, just having our dinner. And so we just kind of naturally got to the point in the conversation where we're talking about, you know, him getting started, because he had already kind of mentioned to me before, you know, yes, I'm ready to get started. So we were at the point of the conversation where we're talking about funding. So before I went into any of that, I just kind of sat down with him, brought out a sheet of paper, you know, sat down like right next to him, and just started writing out, you know, the word goals at the top. And I said, okay, what is the biggest goal you're trying to accomplish, both short term and long term? He says, you know, my short term goal is I want to get into wholesaling. I want to learn how to do wholesaling and I want to start making money really soon. And, you know, my long-term goal is to get into apartment complexes, commercial buildings to, you know, get some passive income. And, you know, so then I just kind of dug a little bit deeper. I said, you know, what is your why? Like, what are you doing this all for? Why do you really want to do this? And he says, you know, the reason I want to make this money, it's actually not really about the money for me at all. I don't care about the money. I care about, you know, being able to, you know, provide for my family, being able to pull my friends up and get them to see, you know, this vision of being financially independent. So that was really his why. And I tried focusing on that during the conversation, for most of the conversation, rather than just being like, starting the conversation with, okay, let's figure out your money situation. So I think, you know, it went pretty well because, you know, I just kind of started going down that path, being like, okay, so, you know, your eventual goal is to be able to, you know, provide for your family. It's be able to pull your friends up and, you know, take them up with you as you're rising. And so let's figure out how we can help you do that. And so I said, you know, how much money would you need to be making in 1 year for you to be able to, you know, be able to accomplish that goal, both in the short term and in the long term? And I really was more focused, you know, over the next year, right? So I'm saying, okay, well, you know, you said your short-term goal is I want to do wholesaling. So how much money would you like to make in the next 1 year for you to feel like, you know, this is worth it? And he just says, you know, like I told you before, money's not really a big thing for me. If I was able to make $50,000, that would be comfortable for me to want to jump into this opportunity full on. So I just started breaking it down from there. I said, okay, well, how many wholesale deals do you think you'd have to do to achieve $50,000 in 1 year? And these are all his answers. I'm trying to get him to start thinking. I'm trying to get him to start envisioning himself doing this. So he says, oh, you know, I think I could just do 4 or 5 wholesale deals, 4 or 5 good, solid wholesale deals and be able to make that. So then I got to the point in the conversation where I talk about, you know, I'm trying to bring it back to the funding. I'm saying, so do you think in 1 year that you can do 4 or 5 deals? And, you know, because when you start breaking it down, that big goal seems a lot. When you start chunking it down to just 4 or 5 deals, wholesale deals, it seems a lot more realistic. And, you know, he was just like, yeah, absolutely. So then I said, well, do you think this a $20,000 investment, right, in yourself to be able, and you would be able to do 4 or 5 deals with that? And that's when I got him to say, yes, I can do that. So once he had kind of convinced himself that, you know, $20,000 really is not that much money for what he would be able to do with that, then it was a lot easier for me to be like, all right, great. Now let's pull out your order agreement. Let's sign, you know, here and here, and let's get your, you know, your funding started. And, you know, so we, you know, he had a good credit score. So we just kind of went down the line of credit path with him. But, you know, I just kind of wanted to share that example because, you know, I kept, during that entire conversation, I also kept bringing it back to his major why, like what he wanted to do. You know, that he wanted to be able to provide for his family. He wanted to be able to pull his friends up. And yeah, and I just kind of broke it down into smaller goals in monetary terms so that he could be able to accomplish that big, more emotional goal. So I was really just trying to, throughout that conversation, trying to tie everything back to the emotion of it. So yeah, that was just an example that I thought I'd share. So thanks, guys.
Man, great work. So so you set up a 1 hour meeting, right? And you started out the majority of the conversation about him. Then once you got your yeses, you pulled out your order entry device and put the order in. Tell us about how that feeling was. Was it easy? Was it smooth? Was it scary? Was it nervous? Was it awkward? Did it take forever? Was it quick? Tell us about that experience of putting the order in with this new guy. And guys, one of the reasons why I'm having Abhi share is because he's still pretty new. I think this is only like his third or fourth enrollment, right? His first two got him 5-star. And he's just got one or two in the last couple weeks, but now he's really ramping it up. And so he's brand new, right? So if you're hearing it from his point of view and you've been here longer, then this should be even easier. So yeah, Abhi, tell us how many minutes left did you have in your meeting when you pulled out your computer or your iPad or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, once we kind of got over this hump, this major shift in his mindset, putting the order in wasn't as difficult, although I'm not going to say that there were no obstacles at all. So yeah, I mean, we pulled out the order agreement. He got started signing everything. And then, we get to the point where, so we decided to go through Get Funded Online for his particular situation. He had a good credit score, so it made sense for him. And I kind of, I told him, look, this is one of the cheapest ways for you to fund your education. You already have a good credit score. You can pay the least amount of interest. You could potentially get 0%, to fund this 0% interest to fund this education. So again, I was trying to focus on him the whole time, being like, look, you're going to save money by doing this. And so, yeah, I mean, there really, in terms of signing the order itself, there wasn't really much kind of any obstacles. But when we get to the point where, you're getting on Get Funded Online, and, I don't know if you guys have gone, some of you obviously have gone through that, others of you, if you haven't, there is a point in that where you do have to actually pull out a credit card and put your number into the system so that you can pay for them pulling having your more advanced credit report to share with the funding company. And so during that point, that's when like it gets real, right? Because then it's like, okay, I'm actually paying for something now. And so during that point, there definitely was some resistance because my prospect, his name is Joshua, he had told me that, no, I still need to kind of talk to my family about this and make sure it's 100% okay with them before I do this. And so I just said, look, you already know that this is what you want to do. So at this point, it's just a matter of you persuading your family, showing them your vision of what you can do with this education. So in that meantime, let's not waste time. You can pull out your credit card. We can put this number in. And that way, while you are talking to your family and making sure everything is okay with them, we can get the ball rolling. And so, yeah, he just, he said, okay, all right, let's do it. So we got that in. So, he's going through the funding process right now. And I think everything's going to work out for him. So I'm excited for him. And yeah, that's how it went.
Cool, man. Great work. So even in that conversation, Abhi had to ask for the sale multiple times and get over objections in the moment, right? How many times are people saying, well, I got to go home and think about it, or I got to go talk to this person or that person, and Abhi's like, dude, you already know you're going to do this. You already know you want to do this. So that was a perfect segue. You already know you want to do this. So let's get this step done. And while you're talking to your family, you can, get them on board if you need to or whatever. But at the end of the day, if your family's not on board with you, it still doesn't matter. If you want to make this happen, you're going to make it happen. So now he's going to Get Funded Online. First exercise in getting out a credit card, which is great because once they pull out their credit card once, they will definitely do it again. So great work, man. You just start applying what you're learning instead of waiting for the perfect opportunity. It's not going to happen. You got to make the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thanks so much for having me on. Thanks, Joshua, Udic, Kimberly, Keely, Tyler. Thanks all of you.
Yeah, man. Okay, keep letting us know about your success. It's inspiring.
All right. Thanks, Michael.
Yeah. All right. So let's jump into this now. Here's a few ideas more as we're still expanding. So do you guys realize that one of the things that Abi was applying here is he adopted this trait of being coachable, right? He wants to be able to change based off of new information. And so he is starting to attract people that are willing to change based off of new information. So because he's being the list, he is getting more people like that in his world. So let's just keep applying it, All right. Now the next thing is I got a little screenshot here, and we're going to start talking about these. 14 ways to find the funding. Now there's a premise I want you to come from. Premise. Okay, a premise is like a position or a premise. Premise is like a foundation. Okay, it's a starting point, a foundation, a premise. So your premise is Waco. What are you capable of? I want you to be asking your customers, what are you capable of? Okay, it's the difference between guidance and direction, or not even direction, instruction. Not even that. Word would be guidance versus yeah, I guess the word would be
Steering.
What'd you say?
It's the difference between guiding and steering.
Steering. That's it. Guidance and steering. Okay, we can guide people through their options, but what we cannot do is steer them to a specific option. Okay? What I mean by that is you can't say go to this specific bank and go get this specific credit card. That's not something we're allowed to do as marketers, okay? But you can say people have gone to this bank and gotten this card and it's worked for them. What are you capable of? And they go, I don't know. Okay, well, go find out. Maybe you could go to that bank and see what's up. So we want to stick into the guidance world, not steering. Okay? So what are you capable of? It's so much easier, and it's going to relieve some liability issues that you might be facing, because if you go and you steer and you tell someone specifically, use this bank product or use this financial tool, and you do it as a directive, like you're the authority, and you're telling them to do it, and then let's say they do it wrong or they lose money or something else, then they can come back and get you in trouble because you told them exactly what to do versus gave them options and they picked, right? Guidance is options. And they picked what they want. But we didn't steer them. We didn't pigeonhole them. So we got to make sure that we're keeping our distinctions. Okay, there's a difference. We just got to make sure of that. Now, when we get into this, we're talking about top 14 ways to find funding. Remember, the premise is these are ideas that have worked. What are you capable of? These are ideas that have been successful in the past for our students. Let's see if they'll work for you. Okay, so first thing is checking account. What is in your, this is, the question I ask is, after you've paid all of your bills on an average month, generally what's left over in the bank account at the end of the month after you paid all your bills? Now, if they're like, $50, negative 50, 100, 500,000, $2,000, whatever. You get all kinds of answers. That tells us a couple things. It tells us what kind of spending habits they have. It tells us what their attitude and philosophy is on saving. And then also, once you hear, oh, I got an extra $500 a month left over, then at the end how many options we can create and we can point to. Okay, options, baby. We want options, and we got options. Okay, number 2 is going to be savings account. Okay, there are a lot of people who have been saving for an opportunity, and boom, this is it. This is the kind of opportunity that they're going to make their money back very quickly, in my opinion. So let's take a look at savings. Next is going to be HELOC. Now, when I get to the HELOC, I'd like to point out to a few people that it's not exactly what they think. Some people have a huge misunderstanding and make it harder than it needs to be. So when I bring up the HELOC, here's what I point out. Let's say right now, guys, we can get a HELOC for 5%. Right? How many of you on the line have a HELOC, and what's your interest rate? So we can just get a kind of an average when I'm sharing this example. For those of you who have HELOCs, what is your interest rate? So let's say we're getting 5%. So say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, client, check this out. If you put $20,000 on a HELOC at 5%, that's going to be $1,000 as the debt service. And that's for a year, because this is an annual interest rate, so this is an annual number. So we have to divide by 12, which equals 84. So you can say, guess what? If you use a HELOC to service the $20,000 on that HELOC, is going to cost you $84 a month. That's it. $84 a month. So you ask them, hey, do you have a HELOC? Can you get a HELOC? Okay. And so sometimes I'll ask, it depends, because some people are a little intimidated to talk about money, and that's probably why they don't have any. But I'll just ask them, if you don't mind sharing, right? You always got to put it out there like, hey, if you don't mind sharing, if you're open to this, that's great. If not, no worries. We can just go through the options. But hey, if you're open, what is it worth? Right? I was talking to a couple other IMAs who have their guests getting HELOCs. One of my guys just closed on a HELOC yesterday, so that he's going to be able to buy the combo. I'm going to call him today. So you ask, what do you owe and what is it worth? Because some people don't know HELOCs exist. Some people don't know that that they can get a HELOC. They might know it exists, but they don't know how to get one or what to do. So the key is we're looking for, 80 to 90% LTV. If they, owe what it's worth, they're not getting a HELOC. But if they have a little bit of equity, if they have, 10 to 20% equity, then we can go get a HELOC. At least 10. I mean, some people got 50, 60% equity. That's awesome. So when we start to put it into perspective, hey, Mr. Customer, using a HELOC, it's only $84 a month to service the debt. Okay. Now, what if they don't have a HELOC? What if they don't have a house? What if they're renting? Well, maybe their parents do. Right? Maybe their grandpa does or somebody. So then we're going to train them to create an offer. So there's a huge, huge, huge difference between asking for money versus offering money growth. Huge difference. In our world, we don't ask for money. Okay? That's what small-minded people who aren't willing to work do. We don't ask for money. We make offers where people can leverage our time, our knowledge, our credibility, and we will leverage their money. Okay, there are 4 parts. And it's generally split up this way. Someone's got the money, and then someone else has the credibility, knowledge, and time. So when you're starting out, that might be you. You might be the one with the time, knowledge, and credibility. So The reason it's important to understand that is because when you go to have a conversation, you are offering a place for their money to grow, and that place involves your time, your knowledge, and your credibility. And remember, because you're part of this community, you instantly have way more credibility than other investors starting out. So now we're offering. This is what we're doing. You're offering. We've got to make this distinction. So this is what I'm doing. So back up one step. When I bring up the HELOC, I say, so do you own or rent? I say, oh, I own. I say, well, fantastic. If you don't mind sharing with me, how much do you owe and what's the property worth? I say, okay, great. Well, that sounds like you could actually go get a HELOC. Have you looked into credit unions or banks to see what kind of HELOCs you could get? I know that these credit unions in this state have been fantastic for our students. These banks have also worked well. Let's see what you're capable of. That's one direction. Now let's say they rent. Well, I don't own a house. I rent. That's why I'm trying to get into Renatus, man. I'm tired of wasting rent money. I don't want to throw rent money. I want to collect rent money. Gotcha. Okay. So here's something you got to know, new customer. There is a difference between asking and offering. So we're not going to go ask anyone for money. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to offer. We're going to offer people to leverage us, and we're going to leverage them. Win-win. This is called cooperative capitalism. And then I equip them with this question. I say, all right, Mr. Customer, I want you to go around and start conversations with this question. How much, here's the question. How much are you getting paid for your equity in your house? Right? So, hey, Mr. Customer, go ask your parents this right now. I want you to go ask them, hey, how much are you getting paid for the equity in your house? And they're going to be like, what? What are you talking about? What does that even mean? People are like, how do you get paid to have equity in your house? What does that mean? Now, because you've created curiosity, okay, this question creates curiosity. Creates curiosity. Now you have them. Now we have more conversation to go with. So you can say, look, I've started a business. It's in real estate investing. We're looking for some capital for the business. And whoever puts money into this deal is going to be able to leverage our time, knowledge, and credibility. And we're going to go make some money. Now, here's my proposal. If you have equity in your house and you're not getting paid for it, I would love to pay you to use that equity in your house. Here's what we're looking for. It's $20,000. HELOC's around 5%. So mom, dad, cousin, uncle, grandpa, neighbor, whatever, that's going to cost $85 a month, $84 a month to the bank. What I would like to do is, while we're using the bank's money, is pay you the same that I'm paying the bank. So every month when I pay your bank $85 a month to service that debt, I'm also going to pay you $85 a month. And you're going to get paid for the equity in your house. You're going to get paid using bank's money. So if you look at it, it's going to cost you 10%. You'll pay 5% to the bank, 5% to your family or friend. But now you started a conversation. Well, then they go, well, I actually have like $150,000 in equity. So could you use more? You say, absolutely. I've got this next deal coming up. When I have more details, I'll call you and let you know about that. But for now, we're looking for 20 grand. And you just start with these questions. This kind of question right here, it's really going to get the conversation going. Okay? And you're asking not to ask for money. You're asking so you can make an offer. Okay? HELOCs are powerful. And a lot of people don't use them. They're underutilized. Okay, next is going to be 401k. Current 401ks. Now this is easy because I will meet people all the time who we got to keep it in the right perspective. Let's talk about 401ks. People are putting, hundreds of dollars a month, sometimes thousands, into their 401k. And then I'll ask them about their 401k, and they're like, oh, no, I don't want to touch that. I'm like, well, hold on a sec. Let's think about it for a second. But do you know what the rule of 72 is? And I'll look them in the face and ask them, I got my nice little pleasant smile, making solid eye contact. Hey, do you know what the rule of 72 is? Because I'm genuinely concerned. I'm excited as well as concerned. Well, Rule 72 says if you're getting a 1% rate of return, that's going to take 72 years for your money to double. So that means a 2% return would be 36 years. What rate of return are you getting on your 401k? And they're going to be like, oh, the top answers when I ask that question. Say, what rate of return are you earning? ROR is rate of return. They're going to say, I don't know, not good. This is what's coming out of their mouth. I don't know, not good, or 1 to 5%. So you say, oh, okay. Well, you're getting a 4%. 3% is still going to take 24 years. 4% is still going to take 18 years for your money to double. So, Mr. Customer, do you want to wait 18 years for your money to double? No. Okay, then let's look at using the 401k for a benefit. Okay, we're not spending it, we're using it. Okay, small-minded, employee-minded people always say spend money or lose money. The wealthy folks, business owners understand it's use money, not lose money. We use money. It's a tool, right? Like if you're building a house and you needed to hammer some 2x4s together with some nails, you wouldn't say I lost nails to make this house, right? You didn't lose the nails. You used the nails to build the house. So we got to keep that in perspective. And sometimes you need to spend a few minutes on that conversation. Like, how Abby was helping his guy have a new perspective about get funded online and using the credit card. Sometimes you got to have a conversation with them on the topic of using money versus spending or losing money. Okay? This is an employee brain, and this is a business owner brain. So sometimes you might have to call them out in a friendly way, of course, but you call them out and you say, hey, look, I think I caught you in a scarcity mindset thing, because if you're going to be the CEO of your business, you got to understand you're using money. Money is your tool. Money is your employee. Money does what you say. So let's use it to make money instead of thinking about spending it. It's not gone. It's just over there working for us. So when I have that conversation and I see the light bulbs turn on, and they're like, oh, holy cow. This world, it's two different worlds, the world of spending money and the world of using money. And sometimes they think it's a huge gap, and other people understand it's just a simple mindset shift, and they can be in a new world. But we're going to use money. We're going to use the 401k. So you start asking, well, what rate of return have you been getting? What would you like to get? And here's what I see people do. This is incredible, because once they realize the potential of their 401k and redirecting it, because it is your money. Wall Street does a great job of making your customers think that their 401k is not their money. So you have to tell them it is your money. Here's what you could do. If you can take a loan out from yourself, remember, a loan, not a distribution. Okay, we're not cashing out, we're just taking a loan for $50K. It's going to cost about $800 a month to pay that thing back. No big deal. So what I see is people with the $50K, they will spend $20,000 on education, and then they have $30,000 left over. And then what they'll do is, let's say they still owe 10, 15, 20 grand on their car, 10K on their car. and that was costing them, $500 a month or whatever that is. Each person's different. Well, if you pay off the car, you will take that 500 and redirect it back, putting it back into 401k, and now it doesn't cost $800 a month anymore. It only costs $300 a month, and they still have their education. Okay, well, now they also have some cash left over. This cash left over is what they can use to make the additional payments and close the gap. If they do it this way, it won't cost them anything on a monthly basis. It won't cost them anything. No money came out of pocket on a monthly basis. What I mean by that is on their balance statement, right, we got an asset column, we got a balance sheet. Wow, I haven't drawn a balance sheet in a while. Income, expenses, assets, liabilities. Income, expenses, assets, liabilities. Before a combo, let's say they were bringing in $3,000 a month, came in, and $2,500 went out. That was their expenses. Okay. But now they just spent $20,000 and they bought their education with it, and the cash that they set aside, they're going to use so that the same money that's going in and coming out, this difference, this $500 difference, is the same. And this is after buying a combo. So when you show them, hey, look, you have $500 a month left over each month right now. If we get you in, sure, maybe your expenses will go up a little bit, but you'll also have more money. So you'll still have the $500 left over every month. So in a sense, it didn't cost you anything to do this. Okay? Let me explain it another way. This person, let's say they only have the ability to pull out $25,000 out of their 401k as a loan, 401k loan, $25,000. Okay, well, that's going to cost them about $400 a month that they have to pay back. They're going to take this $400 a month out of their paycheck to pay it back. So now in their brain, they're thinking, oh no, in the expense column, I now have a $400 expense. I don't know if I can afford that right now. Say, okay, no worries. Think about it this way, Mr. Customer. $20K is for your education. You have $5,000 left over. Well, how many $400 a month checks can you write with $5,000? You can write a whole year's worth. 12. You've now given yourself 12 months of the same income and expenses, because we're going to take this $400 a month from the 5,000 and we're going to count it as income. So now we have 400 coming in and 400 going out. So it is now still the same lifestyle that you were living on, but now you have access to this incredible company and training and information and marketing plan and comp plan and everything. Now once I see that they get it, then I'll ask them, okay, so let me ask you this $5,000 that we were talking about making the payments with, once that's gone, where is it? And then they look, I see another light bulb go on, and they're like, oh, that's back in my 401k. Yeah, so it didn't get used. It's not lost. It's not gone. It got used. It went from your left pocket to your right pocket. It's your money. So you used it to create this opportunity. You didn't lose it. And then they're like, oh, okay. So now that 5K is still accessible once I've paid it all back. Absolutely. So now your life is the same, essentially costing you nothing. So if you have your own 401k, great. If not, then we got to have a conversation about the difference between asking and offering, because now we're going to go start talking to people about their 401ks and asking them, what rate of return are you earning? And what rate of return would you like to get? Talk to your mom, talk to your grandma, talk to cousins, talk to aunts and uncles, talk to everybody about this for two reasons. One, you need money for education. And two, you need money for real estate. So at some point, you're going to come to them with deals and opportunities for them to make money and grow their retirement account. So why not start practicing right now? And if you need some help, let's say your cousin or your uncle, your aunt, your mom is open to the idea. If they're open to this idea, then get them on the phone with me. I'd love to do a three-way call, right? If we're going to be using someone else's and they're a little bit confused about how the program works, great, get them on the phone with me. Is there anyone here on the line that wouldn't have a three-way call with their customer and their mom to talk about their 401k? Not everyone would do that. So now make sure to offer that with your customer. Okay, remember all the way back up here at the top. We're not saying go get money and sending them on their way. We're saying let's make money. And if you need help with this little portion of the go get money thing that we've been talking about right here, right? Go get money. It's a small part of our conversation. If you need help with that, if you would like me to talk with your dad about using your HELOC, or you want me to talk to your daughter about using her 401k, I'm happy to help. We'll respect the relationship boundaries, and really I'm just here to clarify their questions, like, well, how much does it cost, and who gets the write-off, and what would the payment be? Yeah, I'd be happy to get on the phone with you. So make sure you're offering that so that we can keep this tone of let's make money, because until you get your combo, we're not going to go make money together. Okay? So what I want you to be doing is trying out these ideas, trying out these conversations. I want to report back next week so we can continue going down this list. It's easier than you think. I want to remind you to keep this attitude of it's as easy as doing it. And if you have that attitude, then when your customer or your client says, oh my goodness, I've never asked somebody for money, I don't know if I can, you just say, dude, it's as easy as doing it. I have this attitude of it's as easy as doing it. You have this attitude of it's as easy as doing it. We're all going to be successful entrepreneurs. Or shut your mouth and go back and get a job. Quit wasting my time. They're going to go, oh, I don't want to waste time. I don't want to get a job. Good. Then it's as easy as doing it. Let's go start talking about money. Okay, awesome. We're at the top of the hour. I got to run, literally, not walk, but run. So we're going to wrap this call up. Great job sticking with it. Great job hitting 100 people on the line. Let's make sure that we keep 100 people throughout the week. And like Ron said earlier, why not 200? Right? Each of us, if we're recruiting one IMA a week or a month, we should be having 200 people on here by the end of the year. So let's stay focused, guys. You're awesome. Proud of your work, your progress. And we will see you guys soon. I'm going to the Phoenix Scottsdale Regional next week, so I'll be there Thursday doing the 5 pillars. So all of you guys put out ads in Scottsdale right now. Put out ads in Scottsdale in Phoenix area. Craigslist, Meetup, Eventbrite, everything. Drive them to that meeting so they see me on Thursday talking about 5 pillars. They'll want to come spend the weekend with us at regionals. And guess what? We hit our 7-hour mark. Now we can put their order in, get them going. So use our money, our time, our energy, our effort that we're putting on that regional. You just put ads up. Drive them to that meeting. Let's make some money. Wealth Wednesday, baby. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.